Hi Taurus, welcome to the New Moon in Aquarius reading for February 9th, 2024. New moons bring in new cycles, whether you're starting one or whether you find yourself in one, right? Whatever you're starting or initiating at this time, or whatever's happening to you around the new moon that is initiating optimism for you. Number one, your consciousness is optimistic. It's really nice. I don't think I need to say more. That's the direction that the reading is going in. I don't know that there's more to be said. Pretty self-explanatory. It is number one, so it is the initiation of something. So it's very possible that something that you're beginning around this time, you feel very optimistic towards. It's certainly asking you to keep your consciousness in the optimistic, along an optimistic path with something new that you're starting, because it is number one. Number one is initiatory energy. Okay. Your focus is the Three of Swords. So this, when these two are paired, I'm going to say this is about renewing and rebuilding. Maybe something fell apart before this. Maybe you tried something and it didn't work out. There can be some gnarly weather around when the Three of Swords comes along. But this is saying that it's very possible that you've been through a period of heartache and now you're feeling more optimistic and ready to try again, or to, like I said, initiate something new, because this is after that period of separation or heartache. This is renewing, rebuilding, restructuring. Okay, is three. Three is a creative number. So we can be recreating something that maybe didn't go well, whether that's a relationship or our emotional state, because this can be sadness. But I think this reading is probably going to be very optimistic, or hopefully renew some of your optimism, or you just might be feeling that at this time. It is a new cycle, so um, like I said, new cycles bring in new, fresh energy. And we have a lot of interesting planetary alignments happening right now with Pluto in Aquarius. Pluto moving into a new 20-year cycle. The Chinese New Year, which is the wood dragon. Dragon translates to Aries in Western astrology. And Aries is the first sign in the zodiac. It's the baby sign. So it's adventurous. It's trailblazing. So there can be some new things that you're initiating at this time. And you have that number one. So you should be very optimistic about what you are beginning at this time. All right. This first column is where you may find yourself at the time of the new moon, or something that you are initiating at this time. The second column is you and how you're feeling about the whole situation, what you're doing, what you're thinking, how you're feeling, especially with that King of Cups. And the probable outcome is the third column, probable, because we have the ability to change some things, and some things we are meant to experience, always to further our growth. The first column, though, is interesting because you have two fives, and that would explain this Three of Swords here, because we're in a very kind of, five is a very changeable energy. And it's the roller coaster ride. But like I said, maybe you have experienced, or you are at this moment experiencing some difficulty, but it also comes with the renewing and the rebuilding and the restructuring with that Three of Swords. And already I can see that happening. I mean, it's obvious here with the Death card, and then we end up with that Ten of Cups. So it's pretty obvious here that things are changing, and I do feel an optimistic flow towards the end of within this time frame, within the next 2 weeks. Interesting. Now, the Hierophant card. Not my favorite card, but some people really like it. It's tradition, right? It's traditional values. Um, but it's kind of like, nah, I don't, it's not secretive. It's not like the high priestess, but you have to jump through hoops to get the information. So you may be asking permission for something. There can be organizations that can hold you back, or that you have to fill out paperwork, or you have to go through initiations first in order to get the secret, information, or to get the permission that you're looking for. And it's also blockages. In the Osho Tarot deck, it is no thingness. It's a kind of like the void. um, on a very practical level, though, it's man-made structures. So, religion, right? The DMV, um, any kind of organizational red tape stuff that you have to go through. Um, it can be marriage, but even for marriage, you have to get a certificate, right? You have to apply for a license. Um, so these steps that you have to go through in order to reach or to accumulate that information or the next level. But it can also it structures, but it's man-made structures. It's not like the high priestess. The high priestess is the structure, but that's your divinity. This is more like the structures that we made, um, to set up a society, the traditions that you go through, and that sort of thing. Um, but it is for me blockages, and you can kind of see that with the Five of Cups card. This is the grieving card, and there has been some grief here. There has been something that has caused some mental and emotional anguish, whether that's you or somebody around you. I do have the feeling that it was you, though. And this card asks you to remember that there are still good things, and to go ahead and take your stage of grief, right? There are stages of grief, but not to stay in it too long, because it can turn to depression if you do that. Now, there may be somebody who is seeing an organization for depression, right? Or for any emotional and mental anguish that you've been going through. That's also possible here. You're seeing you're seeing somebody, or you're going to group therapy or something like that to deal with it. This can also be alcohol abuse. So maybe you're going to AA, or, helping other people. Perhaps you are the organization that helps people to overcome any emotional distraught. And I'm going to pull a second card, a third card rather, for that. Yeah. This is releasing emotion, especially where this is concerned. It is a new beginning. It's a new emotional beginning. But first we have to release. Our cup is full, right? If this was over here, I would say something completely different. But here it feels to me like somebody needs to let go of old emotional baggage and make space for this new frequency, this new inspiration, this new energy coming in, what with the new Pluto 20-year cycle coming in. And so finishing up this old, difficult, um, blocked, for me, I really feel blockages here. And releasing that, letting it go. Don't dwell on the negative. Don't dwell on the spilt milk. Don't dwell on the emotions. And don't get me wrong, you have more than what is still standing. But if you continue or the person that you're dealing with, right, continues to dwell on what has spilled, on what has gone wrong, you never get to see this And here's the third cup, right? To balance it out. Here's the third cup for you, saying release old emotional baggage to allow new inspiration, a new emotional beginning to come in. You may be working towards summertime. This is my summertiming card. So maybe there's something in the summertime future oriented for you. Or something may have started last summer where there were blocks that, maybe you got to know or wait for summertime. And it was a little bit upsetting to you. But there is a reason for optimism here. And you obviously have some change where the death card is concerned. Perhaps for some, you lost somebody, right? You lost somebody dear to you because this is separation, whether that's through someone who's passed away or separation. That's also possible here in this scenario because this is the grief card. Okay. You are behaving like the King of Cups, and this is a cardinal sign. It is my Cancer card, right? Now, this person is the calm in the storm. There's stormy waters all around him, but he's learned how to manage his emotions. Master this card is somebody who has mastered their emotions. So he's on a cement block that hasn't sunk in the middle of stormy waters. Okay? And there have been many changes, right? Maybe you have moved on from somebody, somebody has moved on from you, a situation has moved on, we've separated. It is death card, so it is the ending of one situation, but bringing something new. Okay? And everybody deals with death multiple times in their life, whether that's cycles, whether that's loved ones. This card always says there, everyone is beholden to change. Now you have changed twice here. Death is the transformation card. Is the ending of one thing that blossoms into something else. Okay. Let me get a second one for that. So, because you're behaving like a King of Cups or Cancer card, this can be somebody who can be kind of moody sometimes. They are stoic. They may not be showing outwardly what's going on an internal level. But because if you think about the crab, right? Cancer, the crab, it's emotion side. It's it's there's no solidity there. It's somebody who's very emotional on an internal level, and so they have this hard outer shell to protect them. And the hard outer shell often has a stoicism with it. It's often that you aren't going to show your cards. You're not going to show how you feel. You're not going to say what you think. You're not going to, you kind of can keep it all inside. But you are mastering your emotions. There can be some information that comes in from, this is the messenger card for me. And messages that can come in through emails, phone calls, texts, that kind of thing. That kind of changes the situation. It gets things excited. It gets things moving. Passions can become flaming again, right? But it can be a little bit of an erratic energy. And because of that, we have that Four of Pentacles there, which means that we need to kind of solidify and get some strong foundations again. Okay. So there can be some messages of change, of transformation. If you are an entrepreneur, maybe you're starting something new because the King of Cups is my entrepreneur card. there can be some big changes coming up, some information that comes in that transforms the situation. On a romantic level, because this can be marriage, right? Perhaps a union didn't go through that you had hoped it would. But with that Ten of Cups card there can be some transformation where that's concerned. Maybe a romance didn't go the way you wanted it to, but there's a reason to be optimistic here. And whether it's the same romance or a new one, your situation is changing. Your emotional mood is changing. You are becoming more optimistic. It's not saying that the old love of your life is going to come back. Maybe it will, maybe it won't. That's always up to you. But there is an optimistic energy flowing in. And I think it comes through releasing old emotional baggage, the stuff that didn't work out for you, the blocks. There's a reason why maybe something didn't work out, because there's something new coming in that I think you would be much more happy with. Or if it was an old romance and you work things out and you have a deeper understanding, right? We're renewing, we're rebuilding. We spoke about what didn't work out well for us, and we understand each other now, right? We had messages going back and forth. Um, the interesting thing with the King of Cups romantically, however, is that he's not quick to put his shoes under anybody's bed. He's not quick to make commitments, and they really look for the perfect person. And I think I I'm aware, rather, that if they don't believe that that person isn't the right, perfect match, they just won't even go in that direction. They'll just stop it and cut it off completely, immediately. Um, it's not somebody who's saying, well, let me see or let me give it a chance. No, if it doesn't feel right, if it's not the right person, it's just not going to happen. All right, so that last card, however, is, and so that's you, right? That's how you're behaving. If it's not right, it's just, I'm not going to go there. Um, but we have happiness here with that Ten of Cups. We have, through your faith, right? We reach happiness and faith, the the ultimate happiness and joy, emotionally, on an emotional level, right? These are the people, the Two of Cups, from the beginning of the element of water, the emotional cycle. The two people in the Two of Cups have matured. They have emotionally matured. And there's happy home, happy family, the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow with that Ten of Cups. So through the emotional experiences that we've had, right? Through the emotional turbulence, it has transformed us, and there is happiness and strong foundation. And that's why I said this is a very erratic energy, the Knight of Wands. It's excitable, it's passionate, it, it's excitable. And sometimes it can be irrational, but it's the exciting, fiery energy that needs to be grounded with that Four of Pentacles. Four of Pentacles is the Sun in Capricorn, and Capricorn is about empowerment, empowering themselves, empowering others, empowering the relationship. It's a very empowerment card, but it does feel like this is something that we want to hold on to. This is a relationship that we want to hold on to, because that is the Four of Pentacles, right? He's holding on tight to whatever he has. And I have this emotional bliss and I want to hold on to it. I want to keep that experience for as long as I possibly can. Wow. So you have the Emperor card here as well. That's interesting because two fours are good, strong foundations. The Emperor is the quintessential male. He is the wise, mature leader. It is associated with Aries. This is associated with Taurus, mind you, the Hierophant card. So it's something that you're meant to experience or meant to understand in this lifetime. And 5, again, is that changeable number. And here we're looking for strong, firm foundation so nothing changes in the relationship, so we don't go back to this. But there's a very optimistic energy, a very optimistic attitude. Now, this is an important male in your life, or an important person who exerts authority. The emperor can rule with an iron fist, or he can make rules and regulations that are good for everybody. And it seems to me like what we're setting down here, these strong foundations that we're setting down, lead to this emotional happiness, this emotional maturity. Interesting. Okay, so what does Spirit want you to know here? Well, it looks like personally you've learned a lot through whatever it has you have experienced lately that has been emotionally changeable for you. Divine sight. See the divine in everyone. This is number 7. And number 7 is a highly spiritual number. And it seems to me like in order to see that, you have to go beyond logic and reason. And that kind of means if somebody misbehaves, there's usually a reason for it. And if you can find the backstory, you understand them more. And you can see through any destructive behaviors. For yourself or for others, it's know thyself kind of card. And when you know yourself, you can understand and learn to know others, or at least learn to know why they act out the way they do, or that sort of thing. Okay, I'm going to leave it there. I hope this has been helpful, Taurus. I will return in 2 weeks with a full moon reading. Until then, enjoy this new moon. I think it's going to be interesting. And remember, you're setting up a 20-year cycle. So we're just at the beginning of it, but you should see very possibly the trajectory of it. Okay? All right. Take good care. Thanks for listening. It's much appreciated. Bye for now.